Okay, and finally, just a word on Novak Djokovic and tennis. So, woke up this morning, and the Novak match was still on. Novak and Sinner, second semifinal at the Aussie Open. It was set to start at 3:30 a.m. I watched the first two sets of Alcaraz and Zverev, 6-4, 7-6 Alcaraz. That ended up going to a fifth set that Alcaraz won, but he lost the tiebreaker 7-6, 7-6 in the third and fourth set. I thought it was over after the second set, and it was also like midnight where I'm at in Austin, Texas. So I was like, oh man, all right, I guess I'll go to bed and wake up in the morning and see that Alcaraz won in straight sets or maybe four, and then see who he's playing. Probably Sinner over Novak. But oh no, Novak beats Sinner in 5 sets. And his fitness is just insane at age 38 to be doing this. I have so many thoughts on this match. The first is that I'm so happy for tennis and for Novak, but really for tennis and like my own entertainment, I guess selfishly, that he's in the final, because I'm kind of tired of these Alcaraz Sinner finals. Not that I don't like, they're both great players. They are head and shoulders above everyone on tour, or so we thought. They've won. I went back and looked at the Slam history just to double check. They have won the last 8 majors, Sinner and Alcaraz. No one else has won a major in the last 8 majors. The last non-Sinner or Alcaraz player to win a major was Novak, the 2023 U.S. Open. Beat Medvedev to avenge that 21 loss when he almost had that golden calendar slam. 21, Aussie, French, Wimbledon, all for Novak. Almost won it at the U.S. Open. Almost had the golden calendar slam and then lost it to Medvedev. And then Medvedev freaked out and it was weird. And anyways, I haven't seen a ton of Medvedev since, although I know he's been in some finals. Still a great player. Really kind of interesting course of his career. Really looked like he was going to be maybe the guy, and then Sinner and Alcaraz have raised their level way above. But I'm excited, man, because I'm excited for Carlos and Novak, because that's just an epic collision, as it was in Wimbledon, where you have arguably the GOAT, Novak, most slams all time, 24. Rafa's got 22. Fed's got 20. They've all won it in different ways. Whenever anyone asks about the GOAT conversation, I always say Federer is the Wimbledon GOAT. Novak is the Aussie GOAT. Rafa's obviously the French GOAT. Rafa with 14 of his 22 slams at the French Open. They've named a court after him, literally. It's a completely mind-blowing effort from Rafa in Paris. Completely mind-blowing effort from Novak in the Aussie Open, and same with Roger at Wimbledon, obviously. And that was one part. One element that I was thinking is like, dude, Novak is so damn comfortable at the Aussie Open because it's his GOAT territory. It's his Wimbledon for Federer. It's his French Open for Rafa. Like, he is the Aussie Open GOAT. 10 titles, most all time there. Like, this is his GOAT territory. However, he did get admittedly a bit fortunate. He was kind of getting steamrolled by Musetti. Lost the first 2 sets in the quarterfinal round, and then Musetti pulled out with a groin injury. Round before that, 4th round, his opponent completely pulled out, didn't play the match at all. So entering the semifinal, Novak had played 2 sets of tennis in like, what would that be, like 6 days or 5 days, like his last 2 rounds. So a bit of a fortunate rest break there, but nonetheless, I mean, and I gotta admit, this was happening in the middle of the night, so I didn't watch the full match, but just the fitness from Novak is what I always come back to. Like, I remember very early in his career, I think it was a gluten problem or some kind of dietary problem that he had. He was pulling out of matches and like collapsing and throwing up and getting sick and like fainting. And it's like, I don't know if people remember that. I mean, we're talking early on, like very early on in his career, like 16 years ago. But he was having real issues getting through matches. And then he's gone on this insane diet. I know everyone wants to do needle emoji. He's gone on this insane diet, and maybe needle emoji, and these mystery drinks. It's funny when like you see the video of like his crew handing him like a water bottle with like something pink in it in the middle of the match, and you're going, what was that? Did anyone else see that? What is going on there? What is in that? And it's really funny because those videos are out there of his crew like handing him some like mystery water bottle with like some pink substance in it. That's it's beside the point. It's really exciting, man. It's really good for men's tennis that someone other than then Sinner and Alcaraz have a chance to win the title, because I was thinking, like, what excites me about men's tennis these days? Obviously, we lived in a totally golden era for 20 years there with Roger and Rafa and Novak. And by the way, big shout out to Andy Roddick, who was a contender for about a decade there, and even won a slam. Played Novak, or played Roger in the, what was that, 2009, 2010 Wimbledon final, and won a U.S. Open. Won more points than Roger did at that Wimbledon final, just didn't actually win the match. Some all-time stuff from Roddick for about a decade there, too. We really miss Andy Roddick. And so what I was thinking is, like, what fires me up about the men's tour these days? And like, I've seen Alcaraz in person at Indian Wells. Like, I love the guy's game. His strength for being so young. He's getting older now and is like 22, but his strength at 18 was insane. I think Sinner's just consistency and power is great. And Novak's fitness is just on another planet, man. I think it's his diet. I think it's his discipline. It's everything. But, like, you see these guys, this is what happens in majors, is these guys start to cramp up. Like, the non-big three would always, they could play 3 or 4 great sets, and then if it went to a 5th set, your money was always on one of the big three, because you knew their fitness was insane, their mental was insane, and that's always what it's been with Novak. I think it's either Andy Roddick or John McEnroe. Is it John Isner? One of the American commentators. I think it's Andy Roddick, I think. He has the line that he tweets out, and he says, "First he takes your legs." And that's always been the line with Roddick with regards to Novak, because he just takes your legs, and then he takes your will, and then he strangles you, and you lose. Like, his defense is insane. You don't know where to go. Like, Rafa's talked about it on Roddick's podcast. Like, with Roger, the game plan was to go to his backhand. With Novak, the game plan was just like, play your best and hope for the best. And that's a testament to Novak and his fitness. Like, dude, it's just, he doesn't cramp up rarely. He's just always, like, to be this fit at 38 against Sinner in his prime, even ascending into his prime. Sinner's not even fully in his prime yet. I think he's still 23. Let me look that up. He's 24. He's 24, turned 24 in August. So, regardless, he's ascending into his prime, and he's still that young. And for Novak to outlast him, man, that fitness is just insane. So huge hat tip to Novak, and I'm stoked for the finals, because I think the two things that really get me to a TV set these days are someone other than Sinner or Alcaraz playing in a final. I mean, listen, I'll always watch all the slams and Miami and Indian Wells. We'll always watch all of them. But what really gets me excited about them is an American man balling out, or someone outside of Sinner or Alcaraz looking like they have a real chance. And right now, Ben Shelton certainly gets me to a TV set. I think that's the most entertaining American to watch. Maybe has the best chance of an American man to win a slam right now, especially come Wimbledon or the U.S. Open, when his serve can play an even bigger role. And then it's Novak, dude. Getting Novak into a final, that is must see TV. Like, can he do it at 38? Can he win his historic 25th Grand Slam title? He has 24 already, most all-time. Again, Rafa 22, Roger 20. Can he get to 25? Can he win his 11th Aussie Open? Like, that's absolute cinema. And then doing it against a guy who, you don't want to put this kind of pressure on the guy. And I love the way Alcaraz carries himself. It's very clear that he's got such a great team around him, great head on his shoulders. He's not nervous about his legacy. Like, I love that. I think maybe Rafa's rubbed off on him in a super positive way. Like, he's not comparing himself to a GOAT, obviously, yet, or like talking about himself as a guy who can be a GOAT. He's just doing his best, and let the chips fall where they may. I love that Alcaraz isn't concerned about his legacy. It'd obviously probably be impossible to think like, yeah, man, let me get to 20 majors like Federer. Like, I can't imagine even like thinking that. I guess you probably just work really hard and look up 20 years later and see where you're at. But anyways, point is, like, you can tell there's a very healthy relationship between all these guys, and I think a lot of that has to do with Roger's mentality and then Rafa's mentality. There's very high-quality sportsman-like respect that the big three have for each other, and that's bled into this new generation with Sinner and with Carlos, and now you got the two generations squaring off, Carlos and Novak, and the Aussie Open final, man. Can't wait. All right, thank you guys all so much for listening to this podcast, and we will see you next time.